Hello and welcome to another episode here on my channel. My name is ChaosMole, and today we just woke up to a bombshell that Square Enix has sold a bunch of their studios and a bunch of their games to the Embracer Group. If you're like, Embracer, do I have to know them? Yes, THQ Nordic, Deep Silver, and a lot of other games they have actually bought in the last years, and they became more and more like a secret mega publisher a lot of people don't really have on their screen, right? And it's like everyone's talking about Microsoft, Sony, Tencent, the devil, and then there's Embracer Group, and they're just eating everything up in between. And it seems like they have done the same this time with multiple Square Enix Studios. So let's go through the announcements and let's talk about the why. Embracer Group enters into an agreement to acquire Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal, amongst other assets. The Embracer Group has entered into an agreement to acquire the development studios Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, and a catalog of IPs including Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Thief, Legacy of Kain, and more than 50 back catalog games from the Square Enix Holding and Co. Ltd. In total, the acquisition includes 1,100 employees across 3 studios and 8 global locations. The total purchase price amounts to $300 million on a cash and debt-free basis to be paid in full at closing. Embracer has secured additional long-term debt funding, commitments for this and other transactions in the pipeline. The company today reiterates its current operation and EBIT forecast. This is interesting for investors. We are thrilled to welcome these studios into the Embracer Group. We recognize the fantastic IP, world-class creative talent, and track record for excellence that have been demonstrated time and time again over the past decades. It has been a great pleasure meeting the leadership teams and discussing future plans for how they can realize their ambitions and become a great part of Embracer. Embracer is the best kept secret in gaming, a massive decentralized collection of entrepreneurs whom we are thrilled to become a part of today. It is the perfect fit for our ambitions: make high quality games with great people, sustainable, and grow our existing franchise to the best versions ever. Embracers allow us to forge new partnerships across all media to maximize our franchise's potential and live our dreams of making extraordinary entertainment. And then they're explaining why they're doing this a little bit, which is interesting. The portfolio of IP consists of iconic franchises appreciated by critics and players alike. For example, 2 original IPs, Tomb Raider and Deus Ex, have sold AAA units of 88 millions and 12 millions respectively. Embracer sees an opportunity to invest in these franchises as well as the additional acquired IPs such as Legacy of Kain, Thief, and other original franchises. The acquisition also includes the continued sale and operations of the studio's more than 50 back catalog games. And then they're talking a little bit on how they were founded, what they have been working on, and then they're talking a little bit about who they are themselves, the financial outlook of this, and so on and so forth. But of course, now the big question is, why? Why is Square Enix selling this? Are they in money trouble? No, not necessarily. This has nothing necessarily to do with money. As you maybe know, a few years ago, Square Enix literally kicked out IO Interactive, the creators of Hitman, even though Hitman was making money, and Square Enix was saying, nah, they were costing us money. They were not making us enough money. We didn't like them. And IO Interactive had to explain a lot to other publishers that is not really the case, and they don't know why Square Enix would say this. And this is basically the first part in this whole puzzle you are seeing in front of you right now. Square Enix was always very awkward when it came to their Western studio acquisitions. Yes, they still have Western studios, but that doesn't mean they keep them for long. They might actually already look for buyers of those other studios, and Square Enix might shrink on their Japanese companies and their Japanese assets. Because, yeah, again, they had those Western studios, but you always felt like Square Enix didn't really know how to manage them, what to do with them. Like, we have also seen this in earning calls. Whenever there was like a Western game coming out, the first thing Square Enix was saying was, oh yeah, this game, that's sold below expectations. This game there also sold below expectations. Like, they were always hammering home the fact that they had like crazy expectations for it, didn't reach those expectations, and they were super unhappy. Like, I still remember when the reboot of Tomb Raider came out. Keep in mind, Tomb Raider, the IP, wasn't dead, but it was like on a very low end of hype. Like, a lot of people didn't care for it anymore. They had multiple reboots before this, and it was a little bit dead in the water, right? And then the new reboot sold like 6 million copies out of nowhere, and the first thing Square Enix said about this was, yeah, that was below expectations. I was like, what? You rebooted your IP a third time here. Like, your fans left you, the hype wasn't there, and you still managed to sell 6 million units out of nowhere. And this was below expectations. What was your expectations for this, Square? Like, again, they also had like so many amazing IPs, like Deus Ex. I'm already happy that Embracer is mentioning Deus Ex. That IP is dead in the water. Thief, Legacy of Kain. Like, we have so many IPs which were never used, and Embracer Group is really, really good at this. Like, they have been scooping up studios over the last decade which have beloved IPs which didn't got work on because like the big publishers never used them because they didn't make them too much money, and they just left them to die. And Embracer Group is like, oh, we can do this. Like, sure, not every IP will become a AAA game, but we can make it work. We can make it work, right? And so I'm just happy to see this, that Thief, Legacy, that they're actually mentioning those IPs here shows, oh, they have something planned for this, right? Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, another thing where they have something planned for this. And, well, we already know that they're working on a new Tomb Raider game, right? Like, they've announced that. Give me just a second. Excuse me. They have announced that a few weeks ago at the Unreal, State of Unreal or something like that. So, cool, awesome. I'm really looking forward to this. And the Embracer Group is normally giving their studios their freedom. Like, what we have seen from Embracer Group so far is they're buying the studios, they give them the money, and then they're like, make us the game. Just do your thing, and we leave you do your thing. Like, we have no influence on this. And so far, that's really good. Sorry, hit my microphone there. Man, a lot of interruptions in this video today. But yeah, like, this is fantastic news. As I said, this hopefully gives us a lot of new games in the recent years. And I would say good riddance, Square Enix. Like, I'm sorry, but Square Enix hasn't really done anything in the recent years outside of their Japanese games where I really had to say, yeah, you are managing your Western studios well. I'm also, one last thing here before we are sending it off. I'm kind of curious what happens to Marvel Avengers now. There's one of the things I'm very curious about, because this is something which was made in the Western studios, and Square Enix invested a lot of money in it. I wonder if now that they have sold the studios, if this might spell the end of Marvel Avengers because of like the contracts around it, right? So yeah, I'm kind of curious if this is also like a slight announcement in the direction of we will kill it off when the whole deal ends, because Square Enix paid for the IP. They probably don't want to pay for it anymore because it was really expensive. And I don't see the Embracer Group will be like, oh yeah, of course we are paying for that. Like, we will see what happens. I'm curious. I'm really, really curious about it. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, even with some of the interruptions, I would appreciate if you leave a like. If you're new to the channel, you want to see more gaming news, reaction videos to trailers, game announcements, big gaming shows. You also want to get some tips and tricks and Lost Ark news and Lost Ark stuff. I'm pretty deep into that. And also some Warhammer 40k lore. I would appreciate if you leave a sub. It would help me out a great deal. If you ever want to catch me live, you can do so from Monday to Friday starting at 2 p.m. UK time, which is 3 p.m. Central European time, and 9 a.m. East Coast time over at trovo.live/ChaosMole. And there's also a join button on my YouTube channel. If you want to support the channel further, you can do so for $4.99 per month. And you're also getting some benefits out of that. So yeah, if you want to help me out, I would greatly appreciate that. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Hope I see you next time. Stay safe. Bye bye.